Welcome, everybody. Could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pastor James.
James Atterbury, pastor of Amargosa Christian Fellowship. Let's pray. O Lord our God, we thank you for this new year and for bringing us safely through the last one. Every new year is a new opportunity for us to serve you and others. And we can trust in you because you have said in your word that you are a refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear though the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea. We can trust in you because of who you are, the one true and living God. For who is God but the Lord? And who is a rock except our God? You are holy, unchangeable, all-powerful, and perfect in every way. And you are good to those who seek you, showing mercy and grace to your creatures. For you are the maker of all things, always active in our world, sustaining all things, never in need, and having all sufficiency in yourself. And our hearts are restless until they find rest in you. You are the one who has watched over and protected the citizens of Amargosa Valley, and we pray that in this new year that you would continue to show your favor to us. And it's by the authority of the name of Jesus that we pray for your blessing upon this new town board. May this meeting glorify you, and may all of us here have wisdom to know when to speak, that our words might build others up rather than tearing them down. Amen.
Thank you, James. Okay, approval of the agenda for January 23rd, 2025. I'm going to be pulling 6, 7, and 8. General public comment. It's up to a 3-minute time limit per person. Action will not be taken on matters considered during this period until specifically included on an agenda as an action item. I'm going to open it up for public comment. Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close public comment. Okay, number 3, for possible action, discussion, deliberation, motion for the AVTB to approve, amend, or approve or deny election of AVTB members to the following positions on Amargosa Valley Town Board for 2025. First would be chairman.
I make the motion to nominate Carolyn Allen as chairman.
I'll second.
Okay. Anybody want to comment before he does? Okay, I'm going to close public comment. Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Okay. Vice Chair. I'd like to make a motion that we ask Brenda Dymond to be our Vice Chair.
I'll second that.
Call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And then Town Clerk. I make a motion for Mike Cottingnm to continue to be the Town Clerk.
I'll second.
And call for the vote. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay. All right, number 4, time presentation. Mason Bell, Nature Conservancy, the status on the mineral withdrawal for Ash Meadows. Okay, welcome, Mason.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mason Bale, and congratulations to our new Amargosa Valley Town Board member as well. I am here to give the town an update on an issue that my organization and the town have been working on for the last year and a half now. And I've been here a lot to talk about this and finally have some really, really positive news, a big victory that was announced just last week that I'm going to talk about that's worth celebrating, and then talk about sort of the road ahead. We had a big win last week in this issue relating to protecting Ash Meadows and the groundwater of Amargosa Valley from new mining activity. We still have work yet to do to ensure that it's seen all the way through, but I just want to kind of share the news on that and then end with describing the ways in which we can continue to lead on this effort and ensure that this gets seen all the way through to the finish. So this is a breakdown of today's talk. I promise I'm going to be brief, but we're going to talk about this victory that was announced last week. Briefly outline the road it took to get to this point, talk about what this action is, what is a mineral withdrawal, and why does it matter, and then talk about the phase that we're in right now, which is called segregation. It's totally okay if all these are brand new terms. They were to me like 12 months ago, but I'm going to break those down, and then talk about an upcoming public meeting in February, which is an incredibly critical opportunity for the town to come and to demonstrate to the BLM and to people paying attention to this issue, which has caught national attention. This is a big public meeting opportunity in February. So let's get into it and talk about this victory. So you may have seen the news break last week in the Las Vegas Review-Journal or the Nevada Current. Actually, there's a bunch of news stories that came out last week announcing this big victory for the local communities and tribal members in this area relating to protecting groundwater here in the Amargosa Valley. A decision was made on January 14th by the Secretary of the Interior to initiate a process to consider basically removing about 309,000 acres of BLM land here in Amargosa Valley from new mining development. And this is a necessary action to protect the communities and the wildlife of this amazing region that depend especially on groundwater for survival, which I know all of you understand fully well living where you do. This was a big victory. This is something that we have been advocating for. Carolyn and Mike in their capacity have been tirelessly calling for, and this was letters, this was tours, this was news stories, flights to Washington, D.C., a really, really hectic, compressed, frankly, kind of scary 12 months of us pushing for this, not knowing if it would happen. And it happened in the very last week as that administration was leaving power. So a really remarkable milestone for this action to get that level of attention. And now, of course, we're in a new chapter with a new administration, and we want to see to it that the incoming administration feels the same way that we do. This is one that they need to see all the way through to the finish. So I'll break this down a little bit. This is the map that shows the area being considered for this mineral withdrawal. Again, it's about 309,000 acres. I actually enjoy doing this drive a lot now. If you're coming either from Beatty or from Vegas out this way, you can kind of mark the area. Once you hit that Highway 160 intersection, that's basically the eastern boundary of the withdrawal area, and it goes clear up past the Big Dune if you're driving on Highway 95. It's really fun to do that drive now and look out across that land to the south. That's all being considered for protection under this action. So really an incredible area. How did we get here? And I know not everyone has been following this story move by move, so I'm just going to give a really abbreviated history of why did we even have to call for this action? And this all started in the summer of 2023 with Rover Critical Minerals, that Canadian mining company that was here last summer. They had proposed this, what we felt was a really reckless project on the north side of Ash Meadows, trying to drill for lithium down to 300 feet deep. They were going to hit groundwater in every single borehole. We caught them. We partnered up with the local community here and with Beatty and Nye County and the Timbishaw Shoshone tribe, and it was a huge groundswell. I'm kind of calling this the lightning bolt that hit the river, because it just woke everybody up to how dangerous a project like that could be if it went wrong, right? If their drilling went wrong, they hit groundwater under pressure, cause it to change some way that it's moving through the system, and that is something that could cause cascading impacts to water throughout the river. And we can't put it back once we do that. We have an example down in Tacoma, California, where A company popped a hole in the aquifer back in the 1950s, and that is still causing springs and wells around it to go dry. So it was a very serious issue. Thankfully, we caught this mining company. You know, they were not also going to stop at just drilling a couple of holes. They were talking about putting a several mile wide big open pit on that north side of Ash Meadows, going down 300 feet. This is what they were selling their investors on, and that would have been absolutely catastrophic for Ash Meadows and everything down gradient had they been even close to permitting a mine of that size. So this was a very big deal, and we thought that was bad enough, and then this company went and did this thing in April where they staked 400 more claims around town here. This was really alarming to people that lived here. They woke up one day and looked across the street and saw a claim stake with a notice attached saying this is Rover Critical Minerals, and they wanted to do more drilling for lithium. So it was a really bizarre move from this mining company. It was thankfully, again, we caught them early, thanks to the people that live here notifying Carolyn and notifying me. We were able to pick that up and really, I think, take that and demonstrate how serious the situation is out here. There's a lot of new interest pouring in around especially lithium extraction, and we were afraid of company after company doing what Rover was doing here, which is coming out and really not caring much about the community, just looking to seek that mineral and turn these projects for a big fat profit for them, leaving the town to deal with the mess afterwards. And we just felt that this was not okay. So since April, and this is the story that came out in the review journal here, and it was really great to see the town's voices really kind of amplified. And this got national attention. I was in meetings in Washington, D.C., and people had that news article on their desk. I kid you not. So this was a really big deal. This also led to scientific studies showing that all of our fears were justified. You know, professional hydrologists ran the model out here and really said, well, what would happen if even one mine was permitted out by Ash Meadows? Based on the simulations they run, it would cause 10 feet of decline in the Devil's Hole, maybe 30 feet across the entire Ash Meadows region, and you could see declining water levels all the way out to Indian Springs, that far away. I mean, this whole region is like a big sponge. And so all the science demonstrated that we needed to do something in terms of changing the way that these lands were managed. And that's all fed into this push for a mineral withdrawal. So what is this? A mineral withdrawal is, by default, BLM lands are open to multiple uses, right? Recreation, hunting, energy development, and of course mining, right? And so that is why Rover was able to propose this project. These lands were open to mining, they had claims, and they tried to develop them. So what a mineral withdrawal is a process through which those lands are removed from new mining activity. And I want to be really clear about that. This is all subject to valid existing rights. So companies that already have mining rights out here that are currently in operation, those claims are not going to be effective. This is only limiting new companies from coming in, staking claims and trying to develop them in places that are really irresponsible, like Rover tried to do. So this is all about hitting a pause button on new claims so that we as the greater kind of capital C community can talk about the future of this amazing place and what you as the community want to see happen in terms of protections for that groundwater resource. So that is the action we've been advocating for. Why is this important? Well, it's important for protecting Ash Meadows, protecting Death Valley National Park, and protecting every form of life that depends on the water out here. And that includes people and wildlife. It's all of the above, right? We all depend on that same aquifer for our survival. So that is why we felt this action was necessary. And that's why it had such broad support. It was supported by the Timbisha-Shoshone tribe, the Nye County Board of Commissioners also, the Water District, of course the town board here, Beatty as well. We had 24 nonprofit organizations from around the West say, yep, this is a great idea. And this is actually an outdated number. I think ultimately we had something like over 5,000 people submit letters saying this has to happen. So it was really widely supported. And that was received really well by our leaders in Congress. This got all the way up to our federal senators, Catherine Cortez Masto, Jackie Rosen, and then 3 representatives in Congress as well. And they all sent a letter to the Secretary of the Interior saying, hey, look, we've met with the communities. This is what they want. Everyone agrees this is the right thing. And they sent a letter calling on them to take action. And so thankfully, this was in July, right? We thought, okay, great, we're in good shape. And then we had to wait, not knowing what was going to happen in D.C. These things are never a sure thing. We had to continue to put pressure and take every opportunity to communicate how urgent this was. And thankfully, that is where last week's decision came from. They said, yes, we've heard you, we're going to put this process in motion, and they issued what's called a segregation notice. So segregation means for 2 years, they're going to hit the pause button out here, no new mining claims can be staked, and during that 2-year period, they're going to do an environmental review process. And that will determine whether ultimately they decide to withdraw these lands from new mining or not. And so it's a really critical 2 years. It's giving us that opportunity to make our case. And that is what segregation is. It is not final protection. It's a big win to get this far, but 2 years could go by and they could not withdraw these lands, and then we're right back where we started when Road pitched their project. And that company, I guarantee you, has not gone away. They are sending emails to their investors still saying that their flagship project is here in Amargosa Valley. So we don't want to take that risk. We want to make sure that we get this done all the way to the finish line. And that's where we all come in, right? If you're wondering how you can participate in this, like I said, there will be numerous opportunities. Right now, the BLM is accepting comments from the public on this action. That is a great opportunity to say, especially, hey, I live here, I support this, I'm concerned about the future of my water, and we want you, BLM, to do the right thing here and withdraw these lands. So that process is currently open, and we are going to provide opportunities for you to do that are, it's as simple as taking probably 2 minutes to fill out a form online, maybe less than that, and your voice will be heard and sent right to the BLM. So we're getting that put in place right now. But that's where also this public meeting in February is crucial. There will be press. There's going to be a huge turnout for this from around the state, especially from people in Vegas that are interested in this. Frankly, I care a lot more about people from this town and from Beatty and from Pahrump and people that live in this region. This is about your home. So just want to encourage you to mark this on your calendars now, February 27th. It's a Thursday night, 5:30 p.m. We're going to host a rally here ahead of it as well at about 5 o'clock, just to talk about how important this is. And that is your best opportunity to really make it clear to the BLM that they need to see this one all the way through to the finish. So that's coming up fast. We're about 40 days out from that. If you're interested in learning more about any of this was a really quick kind of rundown. We are posting every single day on Facebook. We send out a once monthly email newsletter that gives you the latest on what's going on and then includes resources that are meant to really help you navigate this process. I get to do this full time for a living and learn what segregation and NEPA and all this stuff is. It's not at all fun, but it's important. And so we're here as a resource for the town to provide those materials. And so sign up for our newsletter, and then I think I'll probably be back in February before that public meeting happens anyway. So you're probably sick of me talking already, and sorry you're going to probably hear me one more time in February. But we're close here. We get through this process, and we're on the track to getting this done in the right way. So it's really exciting. That's my personal email address. That's my organization's website. Don't be shy. Send me an email anytime. Ask questions. Bother Carolyn and Mike. That's what I do. And we're here to help. So with that, I'm happy to answer questions if people have any.
Do we have the microphone? Is anybody, I'm going to open this up for public comment. Anybody? If you want to ask a question or have a comment. Thank you. Yeah, the goal here is in the 2-year segregation to get this through legislation and make it permanent. So the push is going to be really hard and pressure. So we need everybody. We got that microphone though. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I just have a question. Are you a member of the Sierra Club by any chance?
I am not. Nope.
Because I was kind of wondering because the Sierra Club is sponsoring a lot of environmental projects in California and resulting in massive fires. So I just want to check to see what your real interest is in this, because you're talking about Beatty and you're talking about Ash Meadows, but where are you from actually?
Well, so I grew up in southern Minnesota. I've only been down in the desert now for 4 years. Honestly, I thought this was going to be a pit stop in my life, but my wife and I fell in love with it, and I've been the executive director now of this organization for the last 3. So even though I'm certainly not from the area, I did grow up in a very small town, about 1,000 people. So I do understand some of the struggles of, being in a faraway place and having these big interests surrounding you. But yeah, I'm only been out
Just check
4
your
years.
background, sir.
Of course, appreciate that.
Tom, real quick, the Sierra Club was out here a few months ago, and I did make a presentation to them down at Ash Meadows that kind of covered the whole green energy thing, and was expressed how this whole green energy thing, the only thing you hear out there in the press is how many homes are going to be serviced by the solar panels and so forth. And I was very adamant to them that never do they explain the damage to the rurals and where the real cost comes from and what it means to us. In fact, I opened my presentation, and I get a little worked up when I do this stuff, but I stood there in front of them, and I panned the whole desert, and I said, we do not look at this as a desolate, barren landscape. This is our home. We live out here for a reason. We like being able to see forever and not have buildings, I'll be polite, buildings and stuff in front of us, because that's what you get coming out of the politicians. They say it's desolate out there, nobody likes it, let's cover the whole damn thing up. Even our governor supports that. So we did the best we could to get the word out on exactly what is happening, because believe me, it does not come out in the media.
Jessica?
Jessica. How is this going to affect the Rover situation? Is it going to be a full stop? Is it, because they already staked their claim, so how does that work?
So it's still an open question, because as I said, this withdrawal only applies to new claims, and it is subject to valid existing claims. And this is going to get a little technical, but there's a really strict definition of what a valid mineral claim is. A company like Rover, we're not sure that their claims actually are valid. A valid claim has to have a path towards taking whatever they're trying to mine towards a market value. And in this case, A, the lithium grade is quite poor that they're trying to look for, and B, we're not sure that the mine that they're even proposing is possible based on all the groundwater restrictions surrounding Ash Meadows and the Devil's Hole. So we're not sure, and ultimately that will probably be left up to a court decision. I'm kind of bracing for we might have to sue again over that if they try to develop their claims. But what it will do is it will certainly look bad for their investors. They're trying to mine in an area that the BLM is saying maybe this isn't such a good idea if we permit this kind of drilling. And they will have to pay for some exams to prove that their claims are valid. They're such a small company that I don't know that I think we've made it clear this is not worth your time. Like, there are easier places you can go and get the drilling done that aren't, next to the community and next to this protected place. So it remains an open situation, and we're going to be watching really closely what they do. It's hard to know. I mean, they've said that they've spent over 6 figures on consultants to help them prove that their drilling wasn't going to have an impact on groundwater. To date, we've never seen the results of that work.
They didn't start with 6 figures.
Yeah, right.
They were pretty much bankrupt immediately.
Yeah, I mean, they're a small company, which in part is part of the problem, right? They're a startup trying to take advantage of this new market on lithium. They're not experienced, and I think most companies know, but the reason why no one's tried to do this before is most mining companies kind of know this is a really, really special, sensitive area, and it's going to be a big hurdle for them to get it done. So I don't know how much they've spent to date, but I know their stock price has not improved much since this whole thing spun up.
Anybody else? Dave?
Dave, I guess beginning this week, President Masco had some reservations about, in the press release, about the 2 things that might get done moving mountains this year. Well, we're good for 2 years, right? And then after that, that's when it might get dicey. So we're good for 2 years, right?
We're good for 2 years, and and I spoke to their office after the news was broke, and you know, they were really encouraging. I mean, they feel like, honestly, that they want to go to the mat for both the Rubies and for this, and make sure this is done, not just for 2 years, but I think they want the long-term win. So we're going to try to make sure that they stay on the ball. And honestly, that's where that public meeting in February is really important. You know, they're going to want to see the community still really supports their leadership on this too.
Your support too.
Yes. And when we were in Washington, that was the ultimate goal pretty much for everybody that we talked to, was the permanent withdrawal. So this is just doesn't seem quick or easy, but it was the quickest, easiest, like that's in air quotes for sure, way to go about it. So now that we've accomplished this, which most people didn't think we could, it was some heavy-duty maneuvering there, especially that last 3 weeks. It was pretty, but we've got support. And so the 27th, I'm hoping that we can get, you know, even Bert Gurr and Stephen Horsford, if he's in town, I don't know. But Stephen Horsford was even behind this for the permanent part. Because this area it's not conducive to mining, our little valley. We don't have the water. We don't have the high-grade mineral that they need for lithium. The CPLI, the three that Lahost is mining is very specific. And I want to state that from the very beginning, we supported Lahost because they have an expansion they've been putting together for 3 years. So we worked with them, and everybody, you know, we did it the right way. And so when you do it the right way, some good things are going to come out. Anybody else? Well, Mason, as usual, thank you, I think.
Hey, thank you. This one belongs to everybody here, so appreciate it.
Thanks. You can have your computer back. Okay, reports. Town office report. Mike?
Okay, so our vouchers for the month, we are in almost a 6-week period with this due to the holidays, so we paid vouchers about mid-November. Now we're paying them through the end of December, or excuse me, mid-December. We're now paying the end of January. Yeah, we'll get that squared away. But we stayed, our total for across all the vouchers was a total of $26,947, which is right within our budget for the year, and we're staying under expenses on what we projected. So the way they break apart, the regular vouchers were $3,024.50. The two $10,000 entries for the Beatty school trip and the library were approved previously. I just had to have them on here so I could get Nye County Finance to pay them. Recurring charges at $16,864, petty cash at $952, total checks $2,700, and credit cards at $3,400. So vouchers are right where they're supposed to be. And we have already started the 25-26 budget. Figures are coming out, and we're starting that deal. So I need a motion to pay the vouchers as presented.
I'll make a motion that we pay the vouchers as presented.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. I'm going to call for the vote.
Aye.
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 All right. Fire department report. Jessica?
Hello, Jessica Cattermas, Kadrmas. Our report this month, our incident count, we had one outdoor brush fire that was up at the transfer bin site. We got that handled pretty quickly. It was a matter of just filling the bin up full of water. We had 12 EMS calls for a total of 13 for this month. It just continues to show how badly EMS is needed in the valley. We are always accepting volunteers. Come talk to me. All of our equipment remains operational at this time. Command 41 was down for about a week. We had an electrical issue, but Joel and Scott were able to work it out and get it all fixed up, and It's back in service and running. Personnel-wise, in December, we had 2 new recruits. Yay! They're currently in ride-along status as, we figure out their level of experience and go through certifications. One of them is a firefighter from out of state, so we're working on moving him into Nevada and getting him all set up. They're currently not participating on calls. They're on what we call the ride-along status. So they get to ride in the vehicle, help with traffic control, but they're not actually down and dirty doing this stuff with us. In training for this year, we're planning to kind of do a return to basics. We're going back to our SOPs, protocols, standard operating, stuff like that. For EMS, we're starting with first responder wellness and how to handle the stress of our job and what we do. And then we're going to move into the basics and the fundamentals of patient assessment and patient care. And that's all I have right now. Scott started working for us. He's our light duty maintenance and admin person. He's going to help me out over there. Very excited. He's been fantastic.
Yay, Scott.
I'm so excited to have help again. You have no idea.
No, thank you. Yeah.
Questions, comments, concerns?
No, as usual. Good job.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you very much. Planning committee. Is anybody here from the planning committee? Lab, anybody? Oh, okay. Brenda? Okay. Brenda, she's liaison.
So the planning board met, and we had a company come before us to locate in Char Valley, iQuest, and we totally agreed that they should because it will bring jobs to our town. And they seem to be a very clean company and use little water.
What do they do?
Oh, I'm sorry. They recycle electronics.
Yeah, they will be making a short presentation later, so I'll explain everything to you at that time. These are one of the ancillary companies that runs in support with all the solar stuff, so it's a good fit. They'll have a huge market here in a few years.
Tourism and Economic Committee. Mike.
Amargosa Days has started. We've already sent the initial letters out to our sponsors, which are basically the solar companies and all the major companies that are around us. Heard back from most of them. And we've also started verifying with the vendors and setting that schedule up. And as far as the economic development, the presentation by Fortunato and Sean with iQuest is kind of the first one that we've been working on for a couple of months. And so it's good to have them here and get something going that way.
Okay. Senior Center report. Dave?
Dave Hall with the Senior Center report. We finished up the year at a really good clip. Month of December, we actually had 438 meals that we served, including homebound and congregate, and that was up considerably over the previous year. So we ended up really good in 24, and we're starting out good in 25. Our net meal costs and income were pretty much the same in December, and that's that's a good thing and a bad thing. You'd like to have a little bit more, but the meal costs and the income that we receive from people paying for their meals is about even. The rest of the money for our utilities, our staff, and all the other things that we do we get those from grants, plus donations, help from the town. So we ended up a real positive note at the end of the year, and we'll have more information as we kind of wind up the year, but we still got a few more things we do before we get into our reporting to the government stuff. But we had a really good year, saved a lot of money on power actually this year, about $5,000 less in 24 than we did in 23. We made a lot of changes, did a lot of things differently, and it's really paid off. So a lot of hats off to a lot of people who worked hard at really watching our costs and trying to make it all work and still provide the services that we can provide. You know, the eggs, for example, And it's just, that's just one of a million things that, we do that the prices have gone up on that, that we get our funding and grants from Division of Aging, and they say, well, yeah, you got a few more people and this and that and the next thing, but they're not looking at the extreme cost of things, and that's kind of how you have to really deal with the government. You have to really go after them and make sure you get your funds, and Monica's really been doing really well at doing that. So we ended up the year really good, and January's starting out really good too. Not quite to the end yet, but everything's going along as we anticipated. Our grants, the Division of Aging was about 3 months behind in really doing their paperwork. We had all our stuff put together, waiting, finally turned in. I signed off on the last paperwork about 2 weeks ago, which it should have been in October. Just goes to show you, hopefully they'll get all those people back in the office now that we're sitting at home. I don't know what they were doing, but they sure weren't in an office anywhere. So hopefully the new administration is going to get people back in the office. We'll get back on a time frame that's more suitable to help the people that need the help out in the rurals. I want to just hats off to the thrift store. Boy, they've been really doing a great job of supporting the senior center programs. Jean, Judy, Sherry, they do a great job of putting it all together. In fact, we ran out of Christmas stuff this year, believe it or not. So right at the end of the year, all the Christmas stuff was gone. And that's really a really, if you know the system, people come in and give you stuff, and they'll give you stuff in May that you got to save till Christmas, and then you got to sort it out. And, I mean, it's a big job. You can just talk to Sherry or Judy when Joe gets back out of the hospital and find out about all that stuff. But it's just amazing what they do and how they're able to support the center and all the activities that we have. One good news, one grant that Monica's worked on for about 6 months is a grant for a vehicle for our home delivered, plus going to Vegas, getting groceries and everything and bring it back. We've saved a lot of money by not having all that stuff delivered from Vegas, which was costing us more than what we could afford. So we've been actually going, and volunteers have been going to town. Every time you go to Sam's, you pick up stuff for the senior center's needs. So we'll have our own vehicle to be able to do that now. That's really trustworthy. We're going to be going out this weekend and looking at some different options, and hopefully we'll have that probably within another month. So that was really a tough fought battle, but I think Monica pushed that one through. And again, they got to put it on the back burner, so you got to call them every week and say, hey, where's my grant? Where's my grant? So you just got to keep on those people to get stuff done. Commodities program, as I referred to it as TFAP last time, right? So it's the Emergency Food Assistance Program, TEFAP. That's what they like to be called now because they just don't want to say it's a commodity program. So when I say that, you all know I'm talking about our commodity distribution. We had 95 families in January. And the good news is that come Monday, we should have everything we need to do an Oasis computer program, give everybody a card, so when you come in, we don't need to document over and over and over again all the information that's required to do our reports. You'll have a card, go into the computer, a couple keystrokes. Our staff can just send that to wherever it needs to go, because I don't know who tracks that stuff. It just has to go somewhere, and I don't know if anybody ever looks at it, but we do a lot of that. So hopefully that'll be all on a computer. They're coming next Monday with the equipment and all the stuff so we can get that done. And again, that'll speed up our distribution on the Mondays that we do it. It'll be less time for everybody standing in line. We should really eliminate that, plus really speed up our volunteer. They spend 2 and 3 hours there helping out, getting everything set up, put out, and then put all back away again. So really a good effort, and there's a lot of good people doing that. The next distribution is going to be on February 10th. That's the second Monday. It's at 9:30 to 11:30, so it'll be a 2-hour period. And then during the week, next preceding weeks till next time we have that distribution, we've got an area where we keep material for people that need commodities during the week, during the month, run out of stuff, can't afford to get the prump, and wherever can't get it, it's available at the senior center. So it's always there. All you need to do is come in and ask. It's like there's a couple things that have really, we've been working really hard on. We started cleaning up that whole area. I don't know if you've noticed the block building with all the graffiti is in a pile right now, and a lot of that pile's been taken away. So hats off to the folks that are doing that for us. And since it's being recorded, I will keep that to myself. But they've done a great job of cleaning it all up. There was some construction debris that never been cleaned up from previous stuff. They're doing all that. So it's really looking a lot better out there. We're also working on installing the last part of the septic system that comes out of the commodity building and goes into our existing septic tank. That was donated by Leeward. They actually took care of the cost for the new leach field and the stuff that we're doing right now. So in another week, that'll all be complete. And we're looking at a bunch of different grants right now to finish that building with showers, bathrooms, and a laundromat. So, well, I tell you what, I spent a lot of time talking to people, getting bids and going out and getting grants. And Monica's been a big help just trying to dig all that stuff up and say, hey, this is what's available. So, and a lot of that comes from the USDA, the TFAP program, because they see it as being able to serve the community, not only as food, but the essentials that the community needs in case something happens in an emergency. So I've been working with Carolyn and Mike and the rest of the folks on the town board, and we're going to have, new bathrooms over here in our park, plus we'll have shower facilities at the community center, plus we have a kitchen, walk-in coolers, all that other stuff. So down the road, when we get an emergency generator that Mike's been pounding on for about 2 years now, we'll be able to power stuff up. We'll be able to have all the stuff we need in case, for whatever reason, we have an emergency where all that stuff is. So, just a lot of things a few people are working on just to try to keep that going and, kind of keeping the fire department keyed in on all those things that we do so that they can give us recommendations and tell us, what we need to plan for just in case they need stuff too, water tanks and you name it. So, let's see. Next Board of Directors meeting will be February 11th at 10:30. And the last thing I have tonight is starting in March, we're going to have a few different days. We're going to do breakfast on Monday and Friday. And Tuesdays and Thursdays we'll be doing lunch, and it'll be dark on Wednesday. With one exception, the day we do commodities, which is a Monday, will also not be open for service. So we're kind of rearranging based on the traffic that comes into for dinners and lunches and breakfast and stuff. We're trying to make sure that we're profitable, and I mean it's just a kind of a guessing game. Wednesday seems to be a day that only a few people show up. So we're actually going to be closed on Wednesdays and open on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for lunches 2 days and breakfast 2 days. So, yeah, that was a lot of stuff. Got any questions, boy, give me a call. Stop by the Senior Center, see Monica. Just so you know, we had election officers, and I'm going to be the director the president for 1 more year. Will over there is going to be the vice president. Carolyn, she volunteered to take notes, and Gene Adams will still be our treasurer. So those are our officers for 2025. Thank you, board, for all your support. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave.
And all the folks out there too. A lot of volunteers in the audience here that help us on commodity days. Can't thank them enough for all that they do. Richard and Will and Sherry, and even folks from the fire department show up if they're not busy doing other stuff. So it's really, actually we have a lot of fun passing stuff out. Hear a lot of stories. So thank you again.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, number 9, for possible action, discussion, deliberation, approve, amend, and approve or deny request by Amargosa Valley Volunteer Fire Department to confirm the following officers. Chief would be Juan Famat, James Atterbury, Captain 1, Scott Harris, Captain 2.
Okay, I will make the motion that we approve their officers as presented. I want to verify it we do have the right ones in there?
Yeah, they are. I'm just
Okay.
up here to answer your questions if you haven't.
All right, there's my motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Do you want to make any comments, Jessica?
We held our department elections at the beginning of the month, and this was our best option now that Bruce is gone. Poor Bruce. We miss him so much.
I know.
We understand that Juan is uncertified. He does not hold the fire certifications, but he has 30 years of experience, and so we're kind of opting for experience over certification at this time. We just don't. James is our certified guy right now, and he already does so much for the community and the fire department. Asking him to do any more would be unfair. So that's.
And Scotty.
And Scott.
Okay.
All three of them they've shown dedication, and they follow our everything. Yeah, they're the ideal.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Any public comment? And we can open it up for public comment. Okay. Seeing none, I'm going to close public comment, and I'm going to call for the vote. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Aye.
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 Okay. Number 10 for possible action, discussion, and deliberation to approve, amend, and approve or deny request by Volunteer Fire Department to auction the following pieces of equipment by sealed bid auction. Tender 42 and the Yamaha Quad. Okay.
Hi, yeah. I should have just stayed up here. I
Uh-huh.
forgot I was next. The Tender 42 that's on here is our old Tender 42. As the community is aware, we got a new tender last year. And so this is the oldest one in our fleet. It's crazy, crazy old. So a silent auction is the best way to just kind of move that along. The same thing with the Yamaha Quad. It's been sitting in there for, I don't even know how long, so long that spider webs are underneath it. So it's time to just move some of that old equipment out of there that's not in use.
What exactly is the Tender 42? Is it Ford, Chevy?
It's
what
a
Size?
Sterling Ace Terra.
Sterling? Okay.
Yeah, it's a Sterling. That's all I can remember right now, I'll be completely honest.
All right.
1972? Yeah, okay. See, he knows. I have it on my notes on my desk that I left sitting on my desk.
I was just
Sorry.
testing you to see, you know. All right. Okay. And do we have a date for the auction?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
You want me
Thank
to go over this?
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay. All right, this is a kind of a silent auction bid thing that we've done in the past. And so we've got there's a bunch of information back there. So you'll come in and just fill out a bid form, put your name on it, we staple it, seal it up, put it in the appropriate envelope. And then on Friday, February 7th at 11 a.m., we'll open the bids in the office. Whoever bids the most gets it. But we are not responsible for delivering it. You're going to have to get it out of here on your own. And, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. I think that. Yeah, I think they'll run.
The tender was totally operational when we
Yeah.
parked it. Obviously it'll be sans equipment because the bids and stuff that are on there have to come with us. But you get the equipment, the tender itself or the quad itself, along with the files for it. No. Yeah, it's a 13 speed, I think. Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so starting tomorrow morning, you can stop in here and put your name on a deal and put it in and see if you want it.
What can you tell us about the Yamaha Quad?
It was a pretty good quad. I know that some people have had their eyes on it for a really, really, really long time and really, really want to put their bids in on
There
it.
you go.
It was really good running when it ran. It was impractical. It was originally purchased for dune rescue kind of things, and it's just, if somebody's got a broken femur, you're not putting them on the back of the quad to pull them out of the dunes.
Not me. Okay. All right. So I'll make this motion that we have a auction and auction off and silent auction for the Tender 42 and the Yamaha Quad by sealed bid.
I'll second.
And I'll call for the vote. Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And just what's the date on that? The 24th through February 7th?
Yes.
Just so, and you come into the office. All right. And we won't cheat.
Yeah, you don't have to pay at that time, you just put a number on there, but you've got to provide the funds before you can take it. And we take checks, so.
We do? We do. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we've taken Bitcoin. I'm too old for that stuff. Okay, thank you guys. Okay, number 11, for possible action, discussion, and deliberation to approve, amend, and approve or deny the minutes for the Amargosa Valley Town Board meeting. Let's start with November 21st of 2024.
I make a motion to approve them as presented.
I'll second.
And I'm going to call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Okay. And then now to approve the minutes for December 19th, 2024. I will make that motion.
Second.
Okay. And call for the vote.
Aye.
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 Okay. For possible action, discussion, and deliberation to improve, amend, and approve or deny Planning Committee endorsement of iQuest to relocate a branch of their electronics recycling business to Amargosa Valley.
Okay, at this time I'd like to invite Fortunato and his son
And his
Sean
son.
to the podium. They'll make a short presentation on what their business does.
Welcome back.
My name is Sean. I'm representing iQuest tonight.
Sean, can you state and spell your last name?
Last name Villamagna, Villamagna.
Is your mic on, Sean?
Yes.
Or turn it up a little maybe and speak right into it.
So who we are is iQuest. We are a end-of-life recycling facility who we started in 2009 in Nevada, and we specialize in electronic recycling. The main focus being solar panels. So we use mechanical and manual disassembly of solar panels to separate the ingredients of them, whether it be glass or heavy metals, and we will recycle these things. So the glass will get shipped out to our business partners, the metals will be shipped out of Amargosa Valley, and essentially what we're doing here is disassembling and separating all of the components. All of our operations are certified by the Nevada Department of Environmental Protection. They are familiar with us and they have vetted our process. So the main idea here is that nothing goes to a landfill and nothing remains in Amargosa Valley. When the materials are coming into our facility, we, like I said, break them down and ship them out. The main focus of being here would be that the solar fields are already in Amargosa Valley, and when the panels are done and their life is over, they're kind of sitting in the desert here. So being that they're already here, it's quite easy for us to take them from the surrounding area, bring them to a facility and process them in this area. And then all of the byproducts or anything like that, they're all shipped out. So there's no pollutants, there's no air quality issues, there's no dust, there's nothing that comes out of this facility that'll remain in this community. We don't use water for anything other than a fire suppression system. So the water source will be untouched, and other than some storage within the facility, none of these products will be remaining in the community here.
About how many employees do you anticipate hiring?
Starting from 8 to 10, and then ramping up from there as we can source more customers and bring in more waste panels.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And when the panels come in for these big projects, these 10,000 acre projects,
Yeah.
a lot of them come in broken, and you pick them up. You've already got a load coming from Sunshine, right?
That's correct. And on Friday we have a load coming, and whether it be damage from transportation or simply just the panel is 20 years old and is no longer functional, these are all things that we will take in and process. And one of the other things too being that when you set up a solar farm or something in this community, it's mandated that these companies have an end-of-life process that they have planned out. So the Nye County landfill does not accept solar panels. They can't just dump them in there. So these companies need to have a plan to get rid of this waste when it is here. And us being in the community provides a really good opportunity for them, an easy way for us to get rid of this waste.
I want to thank you too for answering our phone calls when we reached out.
Of course.
Okay.
And then if anybody in the audience has a question for me or any concerns, yes, ma'am?
Where do you plan on putting this?
The location I'm at is on Poplar Avenue, off of, I believe it's Highway 373.
What avenue?
Poplar. It's 3499 East Poplar Avenue.
You know where what's left of the pine tree farm on, right off 373, when you go past Aztec to the right there? What's left of that tree farm, that's one of the parcels they're going to get.
How long will they sit around before you get rid of them?
Well, they'll actually be housed inside of a steel frame building, so they won't be exposed to the elements at all. When we pick them up, oftentimes they're sitting in these solar fields and they're exposed. So we're actually taking them out of the elements where rainwater or whatever else will get into them. We bring them into a facility where they're protected from any exterior elements. And they'll be sitting within there in a warehouse, but we process them immediately as they come in. And that'll be what the employees will be doing on a daily basis, is dismantling these, grinding the glass down, and separating the components to where we can palletize them and ship them out.
Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close public comment. Board member comments? Anybody? Bobby, you have a question or comment?
How much acreage are you on?
The parcel itself is 43 acres. I don't plan to use the whole area, just closest to the road, but that was the parcel available to us, so that's what we have.
Okay. Thank you.
I also have a flyer here for anybody who's interested. It has my information on it and some other company ideals. So thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Are you going to have big trucks in and out?
Not as a daily thing, no.
Things away and bring things in?
Bringing things in, if there's a truckload of solar panels, a semi truck will bring them in. But as far as, daily semi trucks coming up and down 373, I don't anticipate that at this time.
Are you anticipating any dust control?
Dust control, the road that we're on, or the parcel sits about 400 feet from 373. So as far as paving or putting gravel down, something to mitigate dust from that road on the entrance to our property, that's something that we're looking into as well, to control air quality, of course.
Yeah, they will have to go before Nye County Planning, Nye County Planning and Public Works will both have input on what sort of road improvements they need to do there.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I would like to make a motion for the AVTB to endorse the Planning Committee approval of the iQuest project coming to Amargosa Valley.
I'll second.
Okay. Any other comments from the board? Okay, I'm going to call for the vote.
Aye.
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 I'm really excited about this. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you coming to us. All right. Number 13, discussion and deliberation. Town of Amargosa Valley to form a nonprofit for the purpose of gaining access to grants, etc. The required records would be meetings, minutes, reporting, filings, audits, directors, financial record keeping, bylaws, articles of incorporation, compliance, state and federal statutes. Mike, this was your idea, so I'm going to let you make the motion to open it up.
I will
Let's open it up.
make the motion to open up and discuss this. That's a ton of paperwork. So I'll make the motion to open it up for discussion.
You want to go through your thought process, how you came to this?
Well, we've had, there's, who knows what grants are going to be available now with the changes in the administration. The last one was printing money and sending it out under all sorts of different things. And we did benefit from that. We've got a bunch of equipment over there in the deal. And there are other grants available. We've taken some advantage of those, just applying for them, through Nye County and so forth. Some people did make the library made comments to me that we could probably get more if we were a nonprofit. So the Nevada Attorney General has a guide to nonprofits, 10, 12 page thing here.
Back up.
And, that is to, if we did do it, it's a lot of work to, and Dave knows that. They go through it over there at their place. We don't have the staff, we're running on part-time help. We don't have the staff to actively solicit these things. We've been able to do it in the past, but we don't have the staff to support that level of paperwork. Everything in there is a cost, darn near. The audit bylaws, articles of incorporation, compliance, state and federal statutes, we would be burning money before we got anywhere.
Brenda, you've been working with the grants. What do you think?
I think it'd be like a minefield for us, actually.
I agree. I just, and I don't know how it works in the scope of government. I mean, we've got meetings, minutes, and reporting and filings down, and audits. We go through that with the senior center. I mean, I just know what we go through with that, and the directors. I don't know how it works in the scope of a government. It just doesn't meld with me.
It's a completely separate organization.
Yeah. If we had.
It's just, you just take a group of people that decide they want a nonprofit and they start one. And then, but you have to have, what are you going to serve? What's the nonprofit going to serve? Because you got to know that in order to know what grants you can go after.
Yeah.
So in this case, if you know what grants you want, then you know how to form your nonprofit.
Yeah.
And, but how you get the grants money to the town is entirely a separate issue. I mean, it's.
The only thing that came to my mind was the Chamber of Commerce. That, works in tandem with the town. I mean, it's for the town. It promotes local businesses and things like that. But it would have to be separate from the town. I mean, if anybody wanted to get together and do a Chamber of Commerce, because I believe we had one years ago, right? Very successful one. And I think it was kind of dismantled after the town board became an elected town board, correct?
Yeah, the Lees were involved pretty heavily in that.
Yeah, and JW was a huge supporter of that. Worked tirelessly at promoting Amargosa Days and a lot of other events. And then when we lost him, that deal kind of went away. So
I would really like to see people, we've got the AVIA, and I think if we could get a Chamber of Commerce, because with what we've got coming at us, with a certain amount of solar, depending on, how much we can hold off, and more businesses, like iQuest, more industry, that I think that would be for me, I think that would be the way to go. Get enough people together.
The problem with Chamber of Commerce is that they're supported by businesses.
Yeah.
Now, you got a new business coming in, iQuest.
Yeah, we don't have enough right now.
They would be involved in, maybe like Martell's and Val Valley, and you could probably get Longstreet involved. But how many businesses are going to get involved? You're going to 5 to 10 businesses, which is probably not enough. What you may want to do though is somebody come in and create not so much a Chamber of Commerce, but maybe a nonprofit to promote Amargosa Valley, not just in tourism, but also in bringing businesses in.
Right, that's the only thing I could come up with that could even work with this, but yeah, I like that. I would love to see the people get involved. Like I said, especially with what we've got coming at us, it's going to be a lot different, and we need to embrace some of it, push back on some of it, but
There is actually a lot of businesses in the community that could do a Chamber of Commerce, because even you, Scott,
Right.
have a business. I have a business. There's 50, 60, 70 businesses. They're just mom and pop businesses. So yeah, a Chamber of Commerce can work, but it only works if we have a strong board that does it. We have to have people that are willing to run it. That's what it comes down to.
Mhm.
And it's hard.
The point is that a Chamber of Commerce is kind of closed. It's members working with the members, right? So if you're a business and you want to get business from other businesses, you join the chamber, and hopefully the business, they're not there to support the town. They're there to, I would join the chamber because I hope some of those businesses would hire my company. That's what the chamber is for.
Yeah, when we had,
You can't do more
yeah,
with the chamber.
when we had a chamber out here, it was more about reaching out and bringing people into the community. That's why they were in charge of Amargosa Days and so on back years ago. So, you're right, you're correct, I get your point.
yeah, I'm sorry that we don't have the microphone, because I should have you up here spelling in your last name. But I think it's something, I'm glad that Mike brought it up. I look at it, and when I look at it from the senior center, what we go through with the senior center, I'm like, I don't have the time, and it doesn't work with government. So I think it's a thought process for as we grow, as these new businesses are coming in, and we have all this solar, it'd be an interesting thought process to get, I hate the word committee. I hate it. Committees. But anyway, if we could get people interested, fired up, new businesses, I think it would be something that, on the outside, we could work with. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Anybody else want to add anything to this?
Well, like you brought up earlier,
Bobby, pull that closer to you so they can,
Sorry.
yeah, there you go.
The AVIA would actually be a good idea because, they need the money and I don't know if they have a set up 501c3, but they should be. And, that would be an option that already exists. And so, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth talking to them about.
I don't think they're exactly a 501c, but
Okay.
there's something
Some nonprofit
different,
status.
yeah.
Okay.
But they could definitely change that.
Because, they are our community center.
Yes.
Basically. That is what that is, as sad as it looks, unfortunately. Okay.
Okay, thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to open this up for general public comment, up to a 3-minute time limit per person. Action will not be taken on matters considered during this period until specifically included on an agenda as an action item. I'm going to open it up for public comment. Anybody? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close public comment. Board member comments. We'll start with Bobby. Welcome, Bobby.
Thank you. No comment at this time.
Okay. Brenda?
We're still working on our CDBG grant for the bathrooms. So that should be coming up in March before the county commissioners.
After Amargosa Days. Oh, please don't tear it down before Amargosa
No.
Days.
And then I talked with Nicholas Pay about the lease for the park, and they have a new realty agent, so it should be coming out soon.
Good. Yeah. Things are working and moving in the right direction. Mike?
No comments.
Nope. No comment from
No
you?
comments.
Wow, okay. Only thing I have to say is welcome, Richard. This is a paperwork snafu, or he'd be up here. Bobby and Brenda for another 4 years. Yes. We're going to do some exciting things. We got a lot of work to do. The segregation of the mineral withdrawal, that's nothing compared to the real work that's getting started now. Also, I'm hoping that we'll have more information as the solar projects start to get site control and move forward. Yeah. And Michael Cottingnm here, he was appointed by the BOCC yesterday and took his oath today. So, welcome back. I don't think he ever left, but welcome back. All right, that's it for me. For possible action, set a date and time for the BLM Town Hall, which is going to be February 27th at 5:30, an hour before the town board meeting on the 27th. Be here at 5, yeah. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, that rally, and there's going to be some information going out, and there's going to be a lot of press, and get fired up, get everybody in here like we did the last time. It will help me in Washington. I'm going to need it. Okay, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. That's what we just went through.